Why do we ignore our intuition? Every single time we do, we regret it. We always regret it. So, why do we do it? And this is just a universal problem that we all do it. I know better and I still do it. Sometimes I'm much better at it after having learned the hard way several times. But I hear this from clients, all these stories about times where they didn't listen to that nagging voice inside. They didn't listen to their best instincts and it came back to haunt them. So why do we do that? And my best guess is because a lot of times it's inconvenient. Whatever we're being guided towards or told to do in that moment it feels inconvenient. And so we go, nah, nah, we brush it off. Unfortunately, if you brush it off, then that inconvenience factor is probably going to multiply. I've seen this happen so many times. I've had so many experiences of it. Just a simple example. One time I was running off to an appointment with my son, and I thought, "I need to grab this pile of mail, and I can just sort through it while I'm sitting there in the waiting room waiting for him to get this procedure." And I was like, "No, no, if you're running late, just ignore it. It'll be weird to sit there in the office and file through your mail." And so I left it. And I get to the appointment, and they reject my debit card, and so we have to call the bank, and the bank says, "Oh, well, we shut your card down because we thought there was some fraudulent activity on it, and we sent you a new one, so you should have a new one." And I realized that, of course, the new one was sitting there on the table right where I left it. Of course, then I had to jump in the car and run and go back and get it and then go back, and it turned into a hassle, which if I had just listened to myself the first time and grabbed the mail, I wouldn't have had all the hassle. And I've had more very, very serious consequences of not listening as well. So I had a client who was walking through a house that they were thinking about buying, and she just had this gut feeling that something was wrong, something was off. And the rest of the family loved it. And she just couldn't explain away why she felt so uncomfortable about this place. And it was beautiful, and everybody else loved it. And she actually liked it. But she just couldn't shake this feeling that there was something not right. But went ahead and they bought the house. And after they had lived in it for a few months, everyone started getting sick. And then they discovered that it was mold. They had a lot of mold and there was a mold issue. And they ended up having to sell the house and get out from under that. And it was a huge financial disaster for them. So, back to why we do it. Why do we do it? Like I said, the first reason is a lot of times it's just inconvenient. So, we just wanna brush it off because we don't have time to listen to it right now. Don't have time to listen to this right now. However, you really, really need to. If you are getting those nudges, please do listen to them. The other reason is it's hard to explain to other people something you can't even explain to yourself. If you're not really sure and solid in your own intuitive abilities, a lot of times you're just gonna feel silly trying to justify something you don't know how to justify. You have no way to justify logically other than it's a feeling. That's just hard to kind of explain to other people that you're doing this based on a feeling. And I definitely have been through that several times too, where I had to finally just be brave and stick up for what I felt was absolutely true and stay true to my intuitive gut feelings. People might not people might not always understand it, and that's fine. The other thing is we fear looking silly, right? We fear looking silly. We don't want people to judge us. We're worried that we're gonna look crazy or loony if we're making these decisions and things based on some feeling that we really don't know how to even explain. And last thing I will say is that somebody asked me this the other day, and she didn't really understand it, and she thought that there was something wrong with her. You'd be surprised at how many people reach out to me with this same question, thinking that there's something horribly wrong with them. But it's natural. So it's completely natural to have a feeling of dread. Sometimes we have a feeling of dread, and it sits right in your solar plexus, and it's just this gnawing, nagging feeling that something's off. That is the truest barometer you have. So your head can talk you in and out of things, your heart can talk you in and out of things, but your gut will never ever lie. So your body will not lie. Your gut will not lie. If your gut is churning and you feel this anxiety, and especially if it's growing stronger and stronger, that is really a strong indicator you have to listen. You have to listen to that feeling. So it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It means that your gut is trying to tell you something. It's trying to warn you. I think of it as like a smoke alarm. It's just going off and it's just trying to tell you, hey, there's an issue, there's a problem, there's something. And there's been many times where I was supposed to do something. And as it got closer to the time where I was supposed to go, and it was something I really wanted to do, something I was excited about. But as it started getting closer and closer to the time where it was time to go, I started feeling so much angst and anxiety, and my gut was just feeling this overwhelming sense of dread. So the minute I feel any sense of dread, I stop and I pay attention. What shifted? Why do I all of a sudden don't want to do this thing? Why do all of a sudden I feel some sense of dread? And then in that case, I did cancel going to the event. There was a lot of negative ramifications on that one from canceling, but it turns out that there was a family emergency and there was a death in the family at that time, and I would have been gone. I would have been gone, and I wouldn't have been home where I needed to be. So that was just one example of how possibly it can work out. It could be something about the event itself you're going to, or whatever it is. But if you are getting that strong feeling of dread or doubt or something like that you can't explain and it just gets stronger, absolutely you want to listen to it. You don't want to push that aside. So those are the three biggest reasons, but we have to really honor that's our guidance system. That's what intuition's for. It's to guide us through life and help us avoid potholes. That's exactly what it's for, to help us avoid potholes and then steer us into good directions and give us inspiration and things like that, right? But today I just wanted to talk about how we all sabotage ourselves in that way, where we get the message, we hear it, but a lot of times we push it away and we ignore it. We don't trust ourselves. We second guess all of those things. None of those things work in our favor. So today, I want you to start paying attention and listening to your intuition. That inner voice is there to help you. I'm Pam Coronado. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll continue to create videos for you.